You know, if you feel bad in any way, shape, or form for what happened, and do you? I don't know. You probably don't. And maybe it's not so important to you that you do, but I'm going to tell you something. You damn well better convince that jury, that district attorney, and that district judge that you feel some remorse and that you're sorry about this, because if you don't, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen to you. They're going to kill your ass. You're going to sit on death row for 12 years in a little 8x10 cell, and you're going to be absolutely miserable. And hey, come on in. Have a seat. Pekanes.
Hello.
Akala. I heard you were Greek. I've been saying that all day.
Yes, I am.
How you doing today? Jim Home with the Texas Rangers. I've got a bunch of things to kind of explain to you. I'm guessing you probably have about 50,000 questions right now in your mind, wondering what's going on. Would I be right with that? I don't really have any questions for you, but I do want to explain the process and kind of explain what's going on and why you're here today. I'm sure there's some curiosity there. Before we begin that, in other words, before I begin a dialogue with you, I need to read you this form, and then if you agree, then I'll kind of tell you what's going on. Like I said, I really don't have a whole lot of questions for you. More or less, I was going to tell you things. I'm probably guessing that you got a bunch of questions for me. And so if I can answer them, then I'd be more than happy to do that. You steer the boat. Okay, right? You steer the boat. Right now, you're in custody, and you decide whenever you want to go, then we take you to the cell. All right? If you want to visit, if you want to ask me questions, I'm game with that. If you don't want to do that, then at the end of the day, that's your decision. But I figure for now, you probably want to ask me exactly what's going on and kind of open myself up to you, and you can ask me questions, and I'll explain what we're doing here and why we're here. Cool?
Sure.
All right. And you steer the boat too whenever you want to stop, if you want to go to the bathroom, if you want to get a drink or whatever. If you get sick of hearing me, if you get sick of looking at me, then just let me know. Okay? You have the right to remain silent. Again, if you want to open dialogue and talk to me, ask me questions, do whatever.
I cannot see very good. I have my glasses. Is that why I can have my glasses?
Let me go ask him. Is there any way he could get his glasses so he could read the Miranda form? Is it in your evidence?
Should be on my bag, I guess.
It's in this bag. So, where are you from in Greece?
I'm from Sparta.
Sparta. Okay. Sparta. I had a college roommate who was from Greece. He was from Athens. He was a swimmer at University of Louisville. But I spent 3 summers in the islands. Ios, Santorini, Pyros, Crete, Mykonos. I'm trying to think. Pretty much anywhere out there I've been. You spend any time in the islands?
No, when I go back home, I usually stay home.
Yeah. How's Sparta? Nice or not?
It's pretty nice.
I spent 3 summers in the islands, and I've never been on the mainland. And everyone I know who's Greek keeps telling me, well, you're messing up, you need to go to the mainland. But, man, the islands are just... I like the islands.
Very nice.
Yeah. Probably the greatest meal I've ever had in my entire life was on Santorini. Just unbelievable. But I'm going, I was there 25 years ago, probably the last time. So I started going there.
A lot of things have changed.
Well, I heard, because then the drachma was worth, was like $3 million to $1 or something. So...
No, it was never like that.
So what... 3,000? What would it be? It was something crazy.
No, it was like about 300 drachmas was about $1 back before they changed to euro.
25 years ago.
Oh, I don't know, about 25 years ago.
When I went, I know the economy, the dollar was crazy. And it was so cheap. I mean, I could go there and have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and get a hotel for, it was probably like $5.
Well, 25 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, it was very nice. And the swordfish and the lamb was pretty incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very good. Love the Greek kitchen. Open in, walk up, see what everyone's cooking, what there is, pick it out. Mm. Did you cut yourself?
No, I was bleeding earlier. I'm just trying to stop it now. It's oozing.
And ouzo.
It's just good.
Depends on how much of it you drink. It can be very bad too. Oh, no, there's no glasses in your bag. Okay, thank you. You want me to read it real slow to you, or are you far-sighted, nearsighted, or what?
I got astigmatism, so basically everything is really blurry. So you need me to initial everywhere?
If you want to open up dialogue, in other words, if you want to ask me questions, you want me to tell you things, then yeah, if you agree to that. At any time you don't want to talk to me, you want to end things, then all you need to do is tell me and we're done.
Can I understand what it says I voluntarily waive the rights set out in these documents? What does this mean?
Let me read that whole line to you, and then I'm not really supposed to explain it, but I know you might have some issues.
English is not my first language,
Sure,
so
yeah,
sometimes when I say something, I might not use the right word for.
Okay. So prior to and during the making of any statement, you knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily waive the rights set out in this document. Okay? Basically what you're saying is when you sign this and agree to it, you're agreeing to open up dialogue with me. Okay? In other words, I don't have you an undergrundy. You know what an undergrundy is?
No.
Okay, I'm not giving you a noogie. You know what a noogie is? You know, you put some in your little brother.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not giving you a noogie. I'm not sticking a gun up to your head or anything like that. In other words, I'm not making you say something or sign this. So you're doing it of your own free will and fruition. So that's basically what that means. And like I said, if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to talk to me, if you want to ask me questions, then that's fine. You just need to tell me. But
well, you can tell me what you have to tell me, and then it's like. Okay, so I need to initial here, I guess.
Mm-hmm. If you just sign there and then put your name. Okay.
Do you need me to
You can put it. Go ahead. I can't find your glasses, but they didn't take your watch. They're supposed to take your watch. Oh, I don't want it.
Oops.
Okay. And let me, hey, do me a favor. Spell your last name.
M-A-K like kite,
Mm-hmm.
R like Robert, I-S.
And your first.
My legal name is I-O-A-N-N-I-S. I go by John though.
Okay, and what's your date of birth?
040178.
And I'm kind of a stickler on things, so let me go through again. You steer the boat. You know what that means? You're the captain of the ship. So nothing happens in this room that you don't want to happen. You don't want to talk to me. You don't want to answer questions, and that's cool. All you got to do is say it, and we're done, and you go back. But I figured I would take this opportunity to at least kind of explain to you what's going on, and I figured you would probably have questions about what's going on. I'm kind of a pretty straightforward guy. I just kind of throw stuff out there. All right, so I just kind of wrap through it, and if I lose you or anything, then just stop me and ask a question. If you want clarification on anything, then all you gotta do is ask me. Okay, pretty straightforward. I'm not gonna lie to you or blow smoke or anything like that. Cool. All right. Number one, let me tell you about me. I'm Jim Holland. I'm a Texas Ranger, but I'm not just a regular Texas Ranger. Do you know what Rangers do?
Not really.
Okay, you met a Ranger in this case already.
Yeah, somebody talked to me at the Roulette PD.
Right, a younger guy. So I'm what they call a USIT Ranger. So there's about 120 Rangers in the state of Texas, okay? They do a bunch of different things, from murders to homicide to public corruption, you name it, and they do it. All right. There's 8 guys called UCIT Rangers. Okay.
What?
UCIT, UCIT,
Okay.
Unsolved Crime Investigative Team. So of all the 120 Rangers, if you get picked to be one of these 8 dudes, then you must be pretty good. No one who's young ever gets picked. No one who's bad ever gets picked. Only people that are exemplary in what they do and have a lot of success. So I'm fortunate, I guess, or unfortunate, depending on how you look at it, because I get a bunch more work to do that, which means I've been a ranger for a really long time. I've been doing this stuff for about 23, 24 years, and I'm pretty good at what I'm doing. I'm really good at what I'm doing, or I wouldn't be doing this. When my phone rings, it's usually the governor. And if it's not the governor, it's the director of the Texas DPS or the chief of the Rangers. And they call me for special assignments, and I go all over. I go all over the world. I've been to Turkey. I haven't been to Greece on business, but I've been to Turkey on business. But I travel all over the U.S., and I do, I guess, special cases. I don't work just regular murders. I don't do anything like that. All I work is murders, but primarily what I work is serial murders, interesting enough. And then I work cases that haven't been solved or can't be solved, and I don't even work normal ones of those. I work high-profile ones. So normally I get a phone call. In this case, I got a phone call from the governor. And the reason that the governor called was Laura's mother was calling, writing emails, and other family members were calling and writing emails wanting to know, why hasn't this murder been solved? So after X number of emails and phone calls and, well, I'll be honest with you, news coverage, because obviously politicians care about the news and the governor cares about the news. I get a phone call. He says, "Jim, I need you to go up to Dallas." I said, "Sir, go solve this." Righto. And basically what I do is I come up here and I take over. I take it and I look at it and I tear through it and I solve it. And in my job, there's no excuses for not having results. In other words, at the end of the day, I make arrests, I solve crimes, I get convictions. If I don't do that, then I don't get to keep my job. So I'm really good at what I do. And when I get told to do it, it's usually a pretty short time frame. I don't take months or years to do things. I come up here and I work for a week straight through. And everyone kisses my ass. They do what I want them to do or what I tell them to do because they know that I'm here to solve this and they know that I'm working for the governor. So everyone bends over backwards. So a lot of times I look at cases and I look for forensic evidence. And the neat thing about me is if I find something that needs to be tested for DNA or fingerprints or whatever. Oh, we're good. We're good. I think he's got it. Unless you want him still.
I mean, it's easier to...
Oh, yeah, never mind. We need him. Oh, is this a lens cleaner? Doggone. Check that out. Tell me they're not taking care of you.
Sure, go ahead.
So, basically I go back and look at forensics, look at evidence, and the things that would take 6 months or a year to review and get results on takes me an hour or two. And the forensics, whether it's cell phones or towers or the latest and greatest gizmos and gadgets in the electronic field that other people don't have at their access, I have. And I can have engineers and computer specialists and phone experts and all these different things, mapping people, do what I need done, usually in a matter of hours. Sometimes if it's complicated, a day or two. So I have everything that anyone could ever want at their disposal, and I'm told to go up there and go solve the case. So in this case, that's basically what I did. And I want to explain to you, if you want me to, how I got here.
Sure.
There's a couple problems.
What do you mean there's a couple problems?
Let me explain it to you. So, you know James Valeda, right?
Nothing with his, yes. I do not really have any less with him.
Okay, and you know Mr. Trevino there, right?
Yes, with him I know him several years.
And you know those guys have obviously been sitting in jail here for a while.
Yes.
Okay. So I can kind of take a long time, or I can just cut to the chase and just lay shit out to you. Are you a pretty straightforward dude? I mean, you don't seem like an overly talkative guy.
I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's like, anyway, go ahead.
Okay. Well, those two knuckleheads have been in jail for a long time, so let me kind of cut to the chase. So you can imagine why you're arrested. Okay? One of the reasons. Okay?
I don't want too much. My imagination is bad.
Okay.
So
Well, I'll get to that. Here's you, Mr.
Just call me John.
All right. Can I try it once?
Sure.
Makris?
Makris is yeah.
That's the Greek, man. 3 summers did something. So let me explain some issues that we have going on. So you got Jesus and James working for you, right? Pretty good dudes. You only know Jesus James for just a little bit of time, right?
Correct. I knew Jesus from before, and Jesus brought James because we needed to increase my crew there.
Okay. Well, let me cut to the chase a little bit. Jesus is a dumbass, all right?
Sometimes he is.
No, he really is a dumbass, okay? At the end of the day, you shouldn't hire a dumbass to do a job because he's going to screw it up, all right? And if he doesn't screw it up, he's going to talk about it. And that's what happens with him. Now, at the end of the day, I think there's a bright light for you, and I'll kind of get there and explain that to you, okay? But this is the deal. A year ago, you know this chick?
What's your name, Lorena?
Lorena Elizabeth Rodriguez. 215 pounds. She ain't so small. I bet she weighs more than you.
I'm about 250 now.
Yeah, well, there you go. You guys can wear the same pants.
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, well, this is the deal. Her and Jesus, main squeeze, right?
What does that mean?
That means that they were, at a minimum, having sex. How's that?
Okay.
Okay, apparently Jesus likes
yes,
big
just
girls.
simple stuff, so I can.
They were copulating. How's that?
I don't know that either.
Sex.
I understand what you said there, what at least having
Oh,
sex.
okay. So this is the deal. Jesus is sleeping with this girl, right? Hang on. I jumped ahead of myself. I hate it when I do that. All right, forget about her for a second. Okay. No. Sometimes it's hard to make a decision. Her.
What's your name? I cannot really see your face. Still, I need to see your face. Or your name. Janet? Yeah, I know about Janet.
Yep. So this is the deal. When this murder goes down, Laura, your wife, fiance, sorry.
Wow.
A couple months later, Janet is getting interviewed and questioned and everything like that, and she comes forward. Actually, they approach her after they find this on a webpage. And this is her with a gun, which is a .40 caliber Springfield XD. The bullet that killed your wife was a .40 caliber weapon. Okay. This is Jesus's apartment, or where he was staying with the SpongeBob stuff. We went back and took some pictures. So she's kind of hanging out there with the stuff on the internet. So I'll give them their kudos when they deserve it. They go when they find her, and I have since gone back and interviewed her and spoken with her. And 6 months ago, 6 months before your wife was murdered, she claims, all right, I'm just throwing that as a claim. She comes forward and says that she was talking to Jesus, and that Jesus says that you offered to pay him money to kill Laura. And I think it was 4,000 or 9,000. The number amount is all over, from 9,000 to 15,000 or something. But she says this, and she says that Jesus not only told her that you hired him to kill your wife because you didn't want to get married and you wanted custody of the children. That's what she says. Come on, she's just some kind of gangbanger chick, right? Look at her. Do we believe this shit? Do you think she's credible? Oh, come on. You wouldn't listen to that, would you? So when I hear that this girl says that Jesus told her that he'd been hired by you to kill your wife, and was going to be paid X amount of dollars, I mean, I thought that was kind of bullshit. And then they show me these pictures. I'm like, all right. So you know what? I'm going to fly to Colorado, and I'm going to go interview her myself. And then I'm going to give her a polygraph. And you know what she told me? And I believed her. And she passed the polygraph. But, look at her. But you, so what, right?
Hold on. Backtrack.
Mm-hmm.
You said, say to me again, what did you say? You know what did she told me? I didn't understand what you just said.
So, I didn't believe this. I thought, well, she's probably not credible. So I went to Colorado and I interviewed her, and I'm an expert, right? I'm supposed to be one of the best, right?
Okay.
100% solvency rate in every homicide that I've ever investigated. 100%. That's why I got the job that I have, right?
I understand.
So I sit down and I interview her, and there's no indications of deception. She's telling the truth.
There's no indication for what?
No indications of deception. She is
Deception. Okay.
She's not lying. She's telling the truth. I'm convinced of that, just in case I give her a polygraph. And she passes that. Okay.
When you say she passes that, what do you mean? I'm not.
I mean, she was asked those questions when she was hooked up to a machine, and she gave the same answers, and the polygraph showed that she was telling the truth. Now, I don't really give a shit what the polygraph says, other than the fact it's just something else to prove up, right? Shows that she's being credible. Maybe people think I'm an idiot and I don't know what I'm doing. They don't really think that, but sometimes I like to imagine that. Right? All right. So, but you wouldn't think much about that, about this girl jumping out there, and maybe Jesus runs his mouth or something.
Well,
but
I
it's,
know that she had issues with him, and
yeah, it's not credible, right? I mean, you wouldn't buy that shit, would you?
as I said,
I wouldn't buy it. Doesn't mean anything, right? So then, we go back. I come up with big girl. So get this shit.
I'm trying to.
A year ago, she calls. It's not Dallas Police Department. Well, let me go back to that. We interview her. She steps forward and she says that a year ago, while she was involved with Jesus, she said that Jesus told her that you were going to pay Jesus $9,000 for killing your wife because you wanted to keep custody of the kids.
I didn't have any problems with my wife.
I'm just telling you what they're saying. I'm not here asking you questions. I just want to tell you what's out there. You should know what's out there, right? I mean, you want to know, don't you?
Well, I mean, if
You're
you
under
tell
arrest?
Me, I guess you're going to tell my lawyer, so it doesn't make any difference, right?
Yeah, you can tell them too. You can leave, you can do whatever. I'm just trying to explain it to you. If you want to hear it, then I
Sure.
will. If you want to leave, then let me know and we'll bring someone. So, I would want to know. If I was accused
I
of
do
something, I
want to
would
know.
want to know. I wouldn't want to know what's out there. I'm the guy to tell you. So, she says that a year ago, Jesus told her that he was going to get paid $9,000 to kill your wife because you wanted to keep the children and you didn't want to get married. Or you just wanted to keep the kids. And she goes into a little bit of detail about what he was planning to do and why it was going to happen. But, so you got another chick, right? She's probably some gangbanger. She's dating Jesus, right? You think she's credible?
Well, Jesus was dating a lot of chicks, so.
Right. So he's just running his mouth, right? I mean, she's probably just making shit up. She's coming forward after the fact. She wants to be famous. She wants to be on Entertainment Tonight, right?
Yes.
Okay. Kind of maybe. But the problem is she says, no, I'm not making this up. And no, I believed it. And yes, it happened. And I'm so sure of this that I called up the Dallas Police Department. And I talked to a detective and I gave him all the information. When? A year before the murder. Bullshit. No, I did. I called him. I told him every single thing. I told him what I knew. I gave him John's name. I gave him the wife's name. I gave him all of Jesus' information, what he drives, about the gun, everything. I told him everything. I said, okay, well, let us look for that report. We don't find it. There's no report. She never called Dallas PD. But guess what? A day later, they find the report. Not only did she call them, and not only did they take a report, but the whole thing was recorded, right? And then they handed off to a Department of Public Safety, state police, CID agent who works intelligence hits. And he starts looking at it. I don't know, his wife got sick and his mom died and kids had scarlet fever. For whatever reason, he didn't really do shit with it other than opened a file, ran your name, runs your wife's name, pulls up your house on Google Maps, and runs Jesus. A year before your wife dies. Now there's two people that are saying the exact same thing, and one of them is memorialized a year before your
Is
wife
what?
died. It's recorded.
Okay.
There's a record, there's reports, there's documents. It's not made up, it's not bullshit. How would she know this is going to happen? Two chicks. You know this dude?
Yes.
How do you know him?
Manuel brought him to help with some work randomly,
And what did he do?
whatever, just helping stuff in the houses.
How long before your wife's murder?
It's been a while.
So, brain surgeon, Mr. Trevino, reaches out to him and says, hey, this is the deal, dude. John's going to pay me $9,000 to kill his wife because he wants to keep the kids. And I need 2 drivers, and I want to see if you'll do it with me. No shit. So we bring him in. He doesn't necessarily want to talk. The problem is he get caught up in a conspiracy to commit murder if there's any chance he has anything to do with it. So he lays out this whole story. I mean, everything. Planning what was going on, why it was bothering him, why he wasn't going to do it. All this shit. He lays everything out. So it's getting interesting. Now we got 3 people saying the same thing. Know him? Juan Salazar.
No, I don't know that guy.
Another buddy, right? Mr. Trevino's got all kinds of buddies. Guess what he does with him? He goes to him and says, hey dude, this is the deal. My boss is paying me 15 grand to whack his wife so he can keep the kids, and I need a driver. Would you be interested in doing it? Shit you not. Same thing. He comes in, he gives an affidavit, a statement, he swears to it. Now we got 1, 2, 3, 4 people saying the same exact shit. Boom! You know him?
Doesn't seem familiar.
Guess what he has to say?
Who is that person?
One of your boy's friends. I'm sorry, is that his brother? No, that's his brother.
His brother.
Yep. And guess what his brother said?
Which brother?
His brother. Mr. Trevino's brother. Do you know he had a brother?
I know he have siblings. No, but that picture does not look any familiar at all to me.
Well, guess what he says? He steps up because he gets in a bind and he's getting ready to go down on another deal and he wants to help himself out. So he reaches out and says, hey, you know that murder that Rowlett was working? Yeah. Guess what? My brother approached me. He offered me a gig to do that murder with him. We were going to get paid, I think he said he was going to get paid $4,000. I knew about everything about it. We were going to get 2 cars. We're going to get dropped off. We're going to do the hits. We're going to wipe it all out for John, his boss, because he wanted custody of the kids. But at the last minute, he cut me out. Because A, he wanted all the money, and B, because he made a statement that if there's any kids in the freaking house, he was going to kill them too. And he says that Trevino told him, if you kill any of the kids, then we're not going to get the money. And so Trevino, he says that his brother cut him out because he knew that he's kind of a hothead, and then if there was kids there and he was going to go down for it, that he would kill them. So he said, no, you can't do anything. I'm just going to take care of it. What are we up to now?
I don't know.
5, 6, something like that? Know him?
His face does not look very familiar to me.
Guess who
What's
he is?
his name?
We're going to ask me all the complicated questions. David Arredondo. Oh, I think I might have these two pictures mixed up.
David Arredondo, no, that is Manuel's brother.
Mm-hmm.
I know him, but his picture seems very. Him up. I think it's the first time I see that person. But
So David says that, and then this guy, let me swing that back around. He comes forward. Oh, and you're probably wondering, how do we come up with all these names?
what do you mean?
I mean, how are we getting all these people that are coming forward and getting information from them? I mean, they're kind of gangbanger types. It's not like they're going to just jump out there and...
That's your job.
Well, yeah, but guess who makes it really easy? Mr. Dumbass. Because guess what he does? He's got an app on his phone to record all the conversations.
Yeah, no, I'm the one who told him about this app because I use this app for my clients.
I bet you know how to turn it on and turn it off, don't you?
What do you mean?
I mean that every phone call you make, do you record it or just the ones that you want to?
It's recorded in all of them, and just when I finish usually the conversation, I just delete it.
Mm-hmm. Do you think he does that, or do you think he backs it up to the cloud? What would you think? You know, I think he's a dumbass.
I would
You
say
already know the answer. He backs it up to the cloud. So every phone call that he's ever made, outgoing and incoming, is backed up to the cloud. Well, because of what I do, pretty good at what I do, right?
Back in the cloud.
Oh yeah, do you think Rowlett thought about that shit? Nope. But you think I did? They said, yeah, he tossed his phone the day after. We don't have shit. It's all in the cloud. Guess who has all that? All these conversations. How do I know about these people? How do I know about the guns? How do I know about all this shit? Because Dumbass recorded conversations with you. Recorded. A week ago, I started working this case. Within 24 hours, it was pretty much done. Presented the facts to a grand jury on Tuesday. Not for arrest, but for indictment. I'll explain that.
For what?
Indictment. I'll come back to it.
Okay.
Brother, you know what he said? Dude comes up. He's getting paid $9,000 to do a hit. He needs a driver. He'll pay him $4,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that 6 or 7? I lose track.
I don't think it really matters.
Doesn't. When I say he's a dumbass, I'm dead on. Okay, but I want to keep going. I want to
Sure.
prove that I actually know what I'm doing. Right? Then of course, if you're going to shoot someone, all right, and you're smart enough to get rid of the clothes in the gun, all right, you should also get rid of the backpack that the clothes in the gun are put in. Because when you shoot someone, even though you don't see it, there's something called GSR, gunshot residue, and there's blood splatter because it's high speed. When you hit something, and even though you can't see, you watch CSI, Miami, any of those shows?
Sometimes I've seen that.
So when you shoot someone at close range, the splatter comes back at you. And if you're wearing a black hoodie when you do it, all right, you're going to have the victim's blood on you. Now, if you get rid of the black hoodie and the black pants and the black tennis shoes that you're wearing, it can be pretty good, right? Because you can just get rid of it. But the problem is, if you put all that shit along with the gun that has blood on it into this backpack, do you know what the Locard exchange principle is? Oh, it's fascinating. Locard is this French scientist. He's an absolute genius, right? He comes up with this theory back in 1823. Same year, mind you, that the Texas Rangers came to be. And the Locard exchange principle is fascinating. It's that when two objects touch, this table and that phone, there is an exchange. Part of that table goes onto this phone, and part of this phone goes onto that table.
That makes sense, yes.
Smart dude. French scientists, don't screw with the French, right? They're smart. So Locard exchange principle, if you take the bloody black hooded sweatshirt and the black pants that you're wearing and the gun that you shot this person with and you stick it all in that backpack, right? And then you take out that stuff and you take the gun, you put it in little pieces and you dump it in one spot, and you take the clothes and you dump it, let's say, at a job site, right? in a garbage can, you're pretty smart for doing that, right? But if you put all that shit in this backpack because of the Locard exchange principle, then there's a transfer of evidence. So where do you think this backpack was found?
I'm trying to see the around what.
It was found in James's motel room. Okay?
Okay.
And who do you think James said this backpack belonged to? Jesus,
Yes.
right? And who do you think that all these other knuckleheads, 7, said this backpack belonged to?
From where it's going, I'm guessing
Jesus. He's the dumbass, right? And what do you think they said that Jesus always kept in that backpack? His 40 GAT. You know what GAT is?
No, sir.
Gun. His pistol.
Okay. How did you call it?
A GAT? You never heard that? It's like gangster shit, man. Gangster.
I'm
Come
not
on.
in any gangster stuff.
Mr. Trevino, he wants to be a gangster. His problem is he's not. He's in kind of a bind right now, and I'll explain that to you. He's got this thing. He likes to tell people that he's part of Mexican gangs that work for drug cartels, but he's really not. It's not a big deal when you do that, but when you do it and you're in jail, it's not so good. Because those people don't like people saying that they're them. And
Yes.
you know, they're in a Mexican drug cartel gang for a reason, right? And if you're not, and you're saying that shit, they take that stuff personal. Anyway, back to Mr. Trevino's backpack, which is found in James's motel room. Take that out. Rowlett PD does a good job and they secure that, but guess what they don't do? What would you think?
That exchange of
The card exchange principle, right? But the Ranger, smart son bitch I am, I looked through that and I said, did y'all do GSR on it? Did y'all swab it? Did you do DNA? Did you do S strand? Did you do Y strand? Did you do all the different strands that you could think of? All these high molecular $50,000 tests? What are you talking about? Right? Right? Okay. But hey, I'm the man. Governor picks up the phone for a reason. So I go down there and I see that picture. And what do you think the first thing that I do is?
tell them to do all the stuff, I guess.
Tell them my ass. Takes
Or
me an
you-
hour.
I'm
Takes
sorry.
me an hour. I drive over there. By the time I'm done drinking my double latte from Starbucks, I got that shit done. They're calling me up. And guess whose DNA is in the CODIS databank? Do you know what CODIS is?
No.
Combined DNA Indexing System. It means if you're a shithead and you get arrested, they take your DNA. They run a swab of your mouth and it goes into this giant computer base. Okay?
Mhm.
That's so when you get out of jail, if a shithead commits a crime and he leaves his DNA at a scene, all the police got to do is test it and they have a hit.
Mhm.
All right? Because he's a knucklehead and he's been to prison, we keep his DNA because we know he's going to commit more crimes. So as soon as I run this, what do you think I get?
I hate to guess.
Not 1, 3.
I mean, if you get 1 or 3, I mean, if it's his backpack, then isn't
His DNA would be in
should
it,
be
right?
Yeah.
What about his sweatshirt that was in there, right? He wears it, so his DNA's on it and it's going to be inside the backpack. Do you think your wife ever walked over and bled on that? I mean, did you ever see your wife walk over to Mr. Trevino's backpack and cut her wrist and
No.
bleed inside
No,
of it?
of course not.
No, she wouldn't do that. That'd be silly, wouldn't it?
Of course.
Well, absolutely. And that's why I've concluded that the blood that is inside here, whose DNA matched to your wife, came from the gun in the sweatshirt. The gun that he used to kill her and the sweatshirt that he was wearing when he did it.
Wow.
The card exchange principle. Bloody interior of backpack with GSR gunshot residue, his DNA on it, 7 different people saying that it's his backpack, GSR from the gun, and your wife's blood inside that backpack. What would you conclude from that?
But he's guilty. that
Hell
he's the
yeah,
one
I
who
did it. Some bitch did it. Shot your wife. Problem is, we can stop right there, right? End the show. We got him. Boom. 7 people saying that you hired him to kill your wife. If it was 1, okay, 2, 3, 7. Can't ignore that. But there's more people involved. There's got to be more people involved. This backpack, right? The stories. Your cell phone, okay? Another piece of advice. if you're going to tell someone to go kill someone else, all right, tell them to turn off their cell phone and wrap it in aluminum foil. No shit, right? Why? Because do you have to be on your cell phone for it to be tracked?
What do you mean?
I mean,
No, I didn't understand your question or your statement.
if you have a cell phone, do you have to be talking on it for me, the police, Big Brother, to know where you are?
I don't think so. Most
Nope.
probably you can track it at any time without me being on it.
Unless it's wrapped in aluminum foil.
Okay.
Pretty smart. That's the only thing that'll cut the signal off from the tower. But when you look at your phone, you see the bars, the tower bars, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
They go 1, 2, 3. We use those, tower strength, signal strength, with a trajectory from the tower. In other words, if you're standing right here and the tower is right here, you're an engineer, you went to 2 extra years after high school, right? To be a civil engineer, okay? Then you know about trajectory and angles.
Yes.
Based on that signal
signal
strength.
can pinpoint your location.
Exactly. And so you know what this does? It pinpoints. Can I call him dumbass? Is that okay? Is that all right with you? Because he is. So it pinpoints dumbass's signal at James's apartment, motel, sorry, there's a difference. Picking him up and then driving. Can you show me where your house is in there?
Okay.
Yep, that's it. You know why that X is there? Because it picks him up driving to your house, and at really pretty much the exact time that we feel like your wife was murdered, within a minute and a half to 3 minutes of her getting home, because you just barely beat her there, his phone is tinging at your house. And then his phone goes all the way back towards, where's this? Oh, right here. And it stays there for just a little bit, and then it goes to, where's that Home Depot at?
Right here.
There.
This is where he came and met me.
Yep. Right after he killed your wife. So, if I know that he's at James's motel, what do you think that makes me to believe about James?
That he's an accomplice somehow.
Bingo! James. What do you think about him?
As I said, I didn't really have any relationship or anything with him outside of work.
Let me tell you about him. Okay?
I heard that he was a sex offender after the fact. I didn't know all the stuff.
He's not a big, hard-time criminal. He was messing around with a girl who was 16 when he was 19. It was consensual. Other than that, he's got no criminal history. Definitely not a killer. Definitely not the dude that you want to drive. Okay? Someone who doesn't do very well in jail because he doesn't want to be here. He's very uncomfortable with it. And as soon as he finds out that Mr. Trevino there, who now has hits out, right, because he's saying...
So what?
People want to hurt him because he's not really in this gang that he claims to be in.
Oh.
So he wants to get out, all right? So as soon as he finds out that he is implicating him in this murder, then he decides to come forward. And he comes forward, and he says that about 3 weeks before your wife's murder, he meets with him. He offers him a job to drive because you're going to pay him money to kill your wife because you don't want to lose custody of the kids. And he comes to work for you. I'm just telling you. Do you want to know? I figure you want to know.
I do want to know.
I would want to know. I would want to know.
How I'm going to lose custody of my kids when I have a very good relationship with my...
Dude, whatever. I'm just telling you. It's not a question and answer time. I'm not asking you questions. I'm just telling you. I want to tell you what's out there. Okay? So as soon as he finds out that he's given him up on this murder, he comes in and he sits down and he tells a whole story about how he approached him 3 weeks ago because you were going to pay him money to kill your wife so you could keep custody of the kids, and he's going to get paid $1,000 to be the driver. Then he goes into conversation about, oh, by the way, this was all, recorded and videoed and everything like that, and he gives an affidavit statement, and he's met with the district attorney and all that other stuff. So then he sits down and he gives a statement. And in that statement, he specifically talks about how he was part of a conversation between you and him talking about how this was going to go down. And how you three went into a room after the murder and discussed how everyone needed to shut up and keep quiet the day after the murder. But let's go forward a little bit. He also says that he was a big sissy and he wouldn't just do it. He kept dragging it out. He says that you got really, really mad about that and that you told Mr. Trevino that you need to get your shit together and knock it out because you haven't done anything to plan for the wedding. You haven't gotten a tuxedo, and now your mom's going to be coming, and he needs to get this shit done. Then he says, one-on-one, right, that while you guys were out at a dump, that you have a conversation with him, and you're talking about the murder, and is he really going to do it? And he says, no, I think he's a big sissy. And then you turn around and say, well, he was supposed to do another job for me, my ex-wife down in Georgia. Would you do a hit for $15,000? And he says, well, that's not really my deal. I don't really do that. Because he's not really a hitter. So someone who's going to do a murder shouldn't hire someone who is afraid of the sight of blood, right, to do it. And they shouldn't hire someone who's not really a shithead. He's not really a shithead. He's a pretty legitimate dude. He just has some issues and he did something really, really stupid. You shouldn't bring him along for the ride, and then you shouldn't have a conversation with him about it. Now, you can blow off everything that he said, and you can blow off everything that he said, but the deal is these two have been separated, and they were both interviewed, and they both said exactly the same thing. All right? You paid him to have your wife killed. Now, these two, who's admitting to doing the murder, the gun, the clothes, phone conversations, everything. All right? I did it. He drove me there. That'd be one thing. But they have no reason to do that murder unless they're getting paid. And I got 7 other people saying that they paid them. And these two are completely separate and they're telling me the exact same freaking story. And they haven't had an opportunity to get their story together. And they both tell me what was said in that bedroom the day after your wife was murdered. Okay? Now, you have choices, my friend, okay? Because this looks really, really bad for you, all right? And that's why on Tuesday, this was presented to a grand jury. Do you know about the American legal system in a grand jury?
I have no idea.
Anyone can be arrested. Man, I could write out a probable cause affidavit that you committed murder, okay? And I could arrest you for it, just like that. I just, boom, and a judge signs it, okay? But I'm guessing by now you know that I'm just not this ordinary cop, right? Mm-hmm. I'm different. I'm anal retentive. I'm ADD. I can't help it. All right? I go overboard on everything. So I grab all this shit, all my forensics, all my phone stuff, all my statements, all my you name it. I grab everything and I present it to a grand jury. When a grand jury does an indictment, all right, that means that one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to go to trial or you're going to plead guilty. Okay? On Tuesday, this was presented to a grand jury, and Tuesday I found out that the grand jury indicted you and him for capital murder. This is coming today. Okay? That means that there's no probable cause statement. It means that the grand jury issues the warrant, which means there's evidence to move forward. And at this point, you're looking at a long time in prison or the death penalty. Okay? Now, why am I telling you all this? Because I think it's right that you know everything. Okay? I think that's important. But you have a choice to make. And I'm going to tell you what the positive is.
What the what?
Positive? The good?
Okay.
Okay. I don't like him. Alright? And he's killed other people.
I wouldn't like him either at this point.
Okay. Well, he's killed other people. Okay. So, in the United States, when you kill 3 or more people, do you know what you're called? A serial murderer. This wannabe has actually killed 2 other people. That means that he's killed 3 people total. Alright? Which makes him a serial murderer. And a serial murderer needs to go to death row and die. He just never, ever needs to get out. Now, John, I know that you're kind of foreign to this country, and I know that I'm throwing a lot at you. But I'm going to give you an opportunity today. And it's really important that you understand this because I don't want to lie to you and I don't want you to misunderstand anything that I'm saying. Okay? I'm not the decision maker. I'm not the district attorney. I'm not the district judge. I'm not a grand jury. I'm none of those people. Okay? I'm a Texas Ranger. Now, granted, I'm one who answers phone calls from the governor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't carry his bags, just answer the phone, do what he asks me to do. But I'm a Texas Ranger, I'm not a decision maker, okay? After we meet today, I'm gonna go upstairs, because we're also in the Criminal Justice Center here. And I'm gonna go over, I'm gonna meet with the district attorney, and I'm gonna tell her exactly how this interview went, and she's gonna ask me a bunch of questions about it, okay? And you've gotta make a decision as to what you wanna do, or how you wanna proceed with things, okay? This country is very interesting. And that if people show remorse and if they're sorry and they beg for forgiveness, all right, and they tell the truth, things tend to go better for them. If they tend not to do that, all right, then this is a death penalty case, and that's what you're looking at. And if you're not afraid to die, I understand. Really, I'm not either. But the problem is you have to sit on death row for like 12 to 15 years, and it's a really, really horrible existence, okay? And I don't think that I don't know who you are. I'm really kind of trying to figure you out. I'm honest. I'll be brutally honest. I don't know if you're a sociopath, if you're a psychopath. And I kind of looked into it some more, and I don't think you're any of those things. I think that you felt like your wife was cheating on you, and I think that you thought your wife was not a good mother, and I think that you were probably right, and I think you felt like she was going to leave you and she was going to take the kids, and I think that you were right because I think that she was going to. I think she was going to marry you so she could get half the business, and she was gone. And you know that. And I know that.
No, I don't.
That's what I believe.
No, I don't believe that for Laura at all. I mean, no, I don't believe that. I did not think that Laura will. I mean, the business was hers anyway, so it doesn't matter getting married with her or not. So that's. I mean, I had no.
Then why, John? Why? Because you just didn't want to get married? Because you wanted to
No, I didn't have a problem to get married. I mean, I tried to get married with her for at least 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I loved her. I still love her. I mean, it's, I love my kids. When they took my kids away, it's like killing me. It's.
Well, right now, you have an opportunity because number one, you have an opportunity to ease the pain from them, okay? And there's something called consideration, all right? And I'm not, again, the deal maker, but I can tell you, you move forward with this stuff and these people testifying against you and everything else, and you get the death penalty. Okay? This thing about consideration, okay? The best thing going here, and normally you know how this works, it's the person who hires that they're really after, all right? But you don't have a criminal history. You've never been in trouble before.
No, I mean,
It's a pain in the ass, right? So, they're not really, you're like there, yeah, you need to be punished, but this guy, he's bad, he really needs to go to death row, okay? So, at the end of the day, I think that you have an opportunity, and your opportunity is to be honest, to ask for forgiveness, all right, and to cooperate with all this, and move forward and hope for consideration. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I'll tell you what's going to happen with this stuff. If you end up going to a trial, you're going to get convicted, you're going to get the death penalty. Okay? Period. I don't think you want that. I don't think your children want that. I know that they wouldn't want to have to deal with that. But if you are sorry, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but if you're sorry for what happened and the way things happened, all right, and if you want to tell that story, then I will go to the district attorney and I will tell her that you cooperated with this investigation and that you made a really, really bad mistake and that you're sorry, but that you gave up the information about these two and specifically him, which is what she wants. And I think that gives you an opportunity moving forward. I can't promise you that. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. But I think that gives you a really, really, really good opportunity moving forward. Okay? And it's your choice. It's what you want to do, but it's not going to be presented to you again. And I know that's a lot to be thrown at you, but I think you knew this. You're not surprised with this. You knew this day was coming. I mean, you're not freaked out. You're not nervous. You're nothing.
I am nervous. I mean, it just...
You know it's coming, John. You knew it was coming. Now you got to make a decision. You know what mitigation of damages is?
No.
It's when you screw up and you try to make the best of it. Okay? You screwed up, all right, and now you got to try to make the best of it. And let me tell you something else. Greek Orthodox?
Mm-hmm.
How did I know that? Christianity, all right, Americans, the district judge, the jury, the grand jury, and the district attorney are all good Christian people, because in America you really don't get elected unless you're a good Christian person, right? And what's a value that all Christians share? What's the number one rule of Christianity? Spread the word of God. Number two, you got to forgive. If you're a good Christian, you have to forgive, and it doesn't matter. I sat down one time, Catholic, right? I've got some Roman Catholic, some Greek Orthodox. I got a cousin who married from Chicago, a guy who's Greek Orthodox. Same thing, they just got left the boat, right?
Yeah.
Same thing. So, what's the difference between a good person and a bad person? Does Mother Teresa make mistakes?
Everybody makes mistakes. I don't care who it is.
Pope makes mistakes, right?
Hmm?
Pope makes mistakes.
No, I'm sure he does.
What's the difference between a good person and a bad person? A good person makes a mistake, and they say that they're sorry, and they ask for forgiveness and redemption, and they move on down the road. A bad person, he makes a mistake, he just keeps moving down the road. He never says he's sorry. He never asks for forgiveness. He never asks for redemption. Do you want to know who gets the death penalty? Those people. I put a lot of people on death row, and there's a bunch of people sitting there right now because of me. And people ask me, how do you do that? How do you sleep at night? Let me tell you how I sleep at night.
Just do your job. That's about it.
Number one, I didn't kill anyone. Okay? All right? Number two, I give everyone choices, and I'm legitimate with everyone. Good Catholic boy. All right? I can't lie to you. You know, I'd turn blue or something. You know, I have to go 50 Hail Marys and a couple of Our Fathers. It's against my beliefs. I'm honest, and I give you options, and I let you make choices. And at the end of the day, it's all about choices, John. All right? And you have a choice today, and you make a decision. And when I go to bed, and I tell my son this, when you go to bed at night and you lay your head down, you should be able to sleep with a clear conscience. If you did something wrong, you pray to God, and you ask for forgiveness, and you try to do the right thing the next day. You make amends for your mistakes, all right? I sleep at night because I give people the opportunities. Because the people that end up on death row because they made that choice. Not because they killed someone, not because they had someone kill someone, but because they made the choice not to cooperate and not to ask for forgiveness and not to say that they're sorry. Because when you go in front of that jury and you go in front of that district judge and you go in front of that district attorney and you step up there and you don't tell them that you're sorry for what you did, they're going to think you're a son of a bitch and they're going to want you to die. And that's just the way it is. How does this work out? It's A to Z, man. You know, A is walking out the door and Z is the death penalty. Do you walk out the door? Hell no. I'm not going to lie to you. Anywhere between A and Z is good for you. It's called damage mitigation. In other words, if you can provide information against them and the DA looks at it and offers you some type of deal down the road, then I think that's a good thing. And I think that's your only hope in life. The problem is you got 3 different suitors to that deal, right?
What?
3 different people. There's 3 people. Everyone's going to point fingers, all right? They already have. So, if you make a decision, if you want to say you're sorry, if you want to talk about this thing, if you want to talk about how he killed your wife, how you paid him to do that, how that went down, then I will take that to the district attorney and I will talk to her and I will let her know that A, you told me that you were sorry, and that B, you're cooperating with the investigation. And what does that do for you? I think hopefully that takes the death penalty away.
So can I talk to my attorney
You can
before?
do anything you want. If you want your attorney right now, you can tell me, I want my attorney right now and I don't want to talk to you. But that's up to you. You control these things, okay? But I'm not going to come back and talk to you.
I don't know how this thing works. I don't know how the legislation works. I don't know anything about the legal system in the United States works. And this is where I would like to talk to somebody
Okay, and let me explain something real quick, all right?
about this, because I really don't.
Okay, let me explain something real quick. There's a couple different things you can do right now, okay? You can completely turn me off forever. In other words, I'm never going to come back and talk to you again by telling me, Ranger, I would like to talk to my attorney and I don't want to talk to you anymore, and then I'm never, ever going to come back and talk to you again. I'm done, okay? And that's your right, and you can do that right now if you choose to. You can say, I would like to take a break, maybe we could talk later. I would like to go back to my cell or be booked in, and maybe we can talk later. You can say, I never ever want to see you again. That's your choice. But once you shut that door is shut forever. And I want you to make sure that you're aware of that, okay? Because the opportunity that's right here, and it's your choice. If you want your attorney, if you want to end it, then I walk out this door right now, and that's all you have to say, and it's done.
And I think that, again, I think that I need to talk to the attorney, and because I'm like, okay, and then, you know, tell him all the stuff that he told me, and, you know, it's like, I'm not saying that, I don't know what. I don't even know how to.
Okay. If you want an attorney, then you just tell me that and we're done. And I'm going to go talk to him again next, right now. But that's your choice. If you want an attorney, then you need to tell me that, though. You need to say, I want my attorney, I don't want to talk to you right now. If you want to just end the interview, you can say, I want to end the interview. That's your choice, okay? That's your legal right. Even though you're not an American citizen, are you? I don't know.
I'm a resident. I was
Okay,
actually applying for a citizenship.
Okay, but because you're in America, it doesn't matter if you're from Mars, you have the rights that the Constitution afforded to every American. Even though you're not an American, you still get those rights. And that's your choice. But you decide that. If you don't want to talk to me, if you want an attorney, then you tell me that, okay? If you want to just end it and stop it, then that's fine. I'm just telling you where I'm going next. In other words, I'm not coming back. I'm going to go talk to him, and I'm going to take his statement, and then we'll just keep charging down the road. But that's your choice.
So I cannot have a choice of speaking with the attorney and...
You can have an attorney right now. Do you want an attorney?
I mean, I want to talk to the attorney and then get back to you to...
Okay, you want to end this interview right now? That's your choice. You just tell me that. I mean, you're kind of saying it like it's a big question, or you're throwing a bunch of things out there. So I'm not sure how to take it. I know it's a big deal, but I want to make sure that we're on the same page.
Of course, it is a big deal. I mean, you're telling me that, basically admitting that I hired him to do the murder. That's what you're telling me.
Am I telling you to admit that? No, I already know that you did that. I'm giving you an opportunity to tell the truth and come forward and to ask for some type of consideration for doing the right thing and for helping me to make sure that this guy goes to death row. That's what I'm talking about. There's not a question of if you did this or you didn't do that. I already know the answer to it. I already know that you hired him. I know that he drove. I know that he's an idiot. I know that he pulled the trigger. Okay? I already know those things. It's not a question, all right? I'm not asking you questions. Did you do that? I already know the answer to that. The question is, what do you want to do? If you want your attorney, then we'll end it right now. That's your choice. If you want to provide information and try to help yourself out, then we can do that too. It's up to you. I don't need you to do that, okay? This case is done. When I say I know what happened, I know what happened. This is issued by the grand jury this morning. I'm sorry, it was issued by them Tuesday and issued by the clerk this morning. That is your indictment for capital murder. I'm sorry. That's your buddy's indictment for capital murder. That one's yours. It says your name on it. Okay? My case is done. I don't need anything from you. If you don't want to give me anything, if you don't want to talk about it, then that's fine, that's up to you, I don't care. Then I'm going to go have a little bit to eat because I'm kind of hungry and get a cup of coffee.
I don't have anything to do.
Well, I mean, then I'm fine with that. All I'm doing is giving you an opportunity. I told you, to me, it comes down to laying my head on a pillow at night and going to sleep with a clear conscience. I'm giving you a choice, man. That's all I want to do. Good Catholic boy, I want to get on with my life. I want to have a clear conscience. All right? You make your own decision. You just let me know what you want to do. It's called an unequivocal invocation of your rights.
What?
Unequivocal invocation of your rights. And basically what that means is, I'll sit here all day with you if you want. I'll talk about pinball. I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter to me. All right? But the second you tell me that you want to end the interview, then we're done. The second you tell me that you want your attorney, then we're done. But you have to actually say that to me. If you want to come back later, if you want to try to reinitiate, that's fine. I mean, if you want to just end it, then just say end it. That's up to you. I'm not trying to force you to do anything, or you're not forced to do anything. But you say that, and that's the end of it. If you want to move forward and talk about this or leave that out there, then that's up to you as well. When I tell you that I don't need anything, I really don't need anything. This is an opportunity for you, okay? Because I can close this right now. You've already been indicted for capital murder. I've already shown a grand jury that there's enough evidence out there to prosecute you and to get a conviction, basically. Well, I believe that I've shown them that. They've found that I've shown them probable cause and worthy of indictment, which means there's enough to prosecute this case. All right? I don't need to do anything else. There's nothing for me to do. My fear is you're going to walk out of this room and Mr. Trevino is going to sit down in here again, and he's going to lock into his story, and he's going to tell me again that you ordered this hit, and now, well, then it's just easier for me to keep going on down the road. And there'll be a point where the district attorney, honestly, doesn't really want me to talk to you again. Because why? She's got a death penalty case on you. Why? You don't want to help yourself? Then no, that's screw it. It's up to you. She's looking for remorse. You have a woman who's the district attorney, all right? So killing the mother of children is going to obviously bother her, all right? But I'm doing this interview because this other person who's killed 3 people bothers her more. But she's not going to lose any sleep. This case is done. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's your choice, okay? I'll be honest with you. I sat down and I had the same conversation with James. I said, James, it's your choice. I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to tell you exactly what there's out here. Boom, I laid all this stuff out to him. I told him what Trevino said. I told him why Trevino said it. I told him I didn't believe some of it, and then we proved all it up. It was corroborated. I've got the forensics. I've got the blood. I've got everything. I don't need anything from you, James. However, James, you have an opportunity to help yourself out. I'm not making promises, just like I'm not making promises to you because I'm not that deal maker. I'm not the decision maker. I'm just a little wheel in the cog, but I relay messages, all right? James made a decision that he wanted to help himself out because he knew that he made a mistake. James laid out everything that happened, and then James ended the conversation with, I'm sorry, would you please express my remorse to the district attorney's office? I know that I made a mistake. James has got a pretty good outlook ahead of him.
What?
Outlook. Things are looking good for James. We're a forgiving society. We are, all right? You kill your wife, but you know what? Or you hire someone to kill your wife, but people can still forgive you for it because that's who we are. A Judeo-Christian society. We have to do that. We have to forgive no matter what you do. No matter how bad it is, we have to forgive. And I know that sounds corny and hokey, but it's the God's honest truth. Because we're Christians. You're a Christian. Right?
I am.
Yeah, well, you made a mistake. You did. I mean, now it's damage control time, man. It's mitigation. If you don't give a shit and you want to go to death row, then go. Knock yourself out. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. It's a bad deal. You know, I'm not going to feel sorry for you if they do that to you. But
I didn't ask you to feel sorry for me.
I'm not. It's not going to happen. But I'm going to give you an opportunity just like I give everyone because morally I feel like I have a compass that forces me to do that. But that's up to you. You know, you did something really bad and now you have an opportunity to try to make things better and to say that you're sorry. And at the end of the day, if you decide that you don't want to help with the son of a bitch who stuck a gun to Laura's head and killed her at point blank range after she tried to get away and grabbed her and pulled her back.
Say what?
Oh yeah, she saw it coming. She tried to take off. Oh, he was laughing about it. Having a good time talking about how he killed her and how she tried to get away. Dumb bitch tried to get away. Turned around and tried to run.
Oh, so, okay. Say that again.
What's there to say again? He killed
No,
your
I
wife.
didn't.
He was bragging. Afterwards he was joking and laughing and bragging about how she tried to get away.
Who Laura was trying to get away?
Laura saw it coming. She knew it was coming. She starts trying to take off in her bare feet or socks or whatever and slipped a little bit and he grabbed her and spun her around and but you know, if you feel bad in any way, shape, or form for what happened, and do you? I don't know. You probably don't. And maybe it's not so important to you that you do, but I'm going to tell you something. You damn well better convince that jury, that district attorney, and that district judge that you feel some remorse and that you're sorry about this, because if you don't, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen to you. They're going to kill your ass. You're going to sit on death row for 12 years in a little 8x10 cell, and you're going to be absolutely miserable, and then they're going to kill your ass. And no one's going to think twice about it. What's the best case scenario in this? Say you're sorry, you're convincing, beg for forgiveness, provide information against knucklehead who shot your wife, girlfriend, fiance at point blank range, the mother of your daughter. Maybe you get a halfway lenient sentence. Maybe you get to go to a work farm because you haven't done anything before.
What?
A work farm. Maybe you get to go somewhere, you get to be outside, you get to run cattle and do carpentry and work and everything like that. It's a life. It's a lot better than being stuck behind bars. Maybe you get to go do that and maybe they give you a halfway decent sentence. And in the state of Texas, you only have to serve about 50-60% of that sentence. So maybe you have an opportunity to actually see your daughter get married. You're not going to see her graduate kindergarten. You're not going to see her graduate 8th grade, but maybe you can see her graduate high school. Or maybe you can see her get married. Maybe you can hold her baby. Those are the things that you have to look forward to. But you know what? It's a hell of a lot better than nothing. And it's 12 years of misery. And then you're going to put them through that. And if you ever had an opportunity in your entire life to think about one thing other than yourself, this is a time. Because let me tell you something. The path to true redemption and righteousness is the recognition that it's about others. It's not about you, John. It's about others. And until you put other people in front of you in your life, you're never going to recognize it. And right now, you know what? I know you're laughing. You think this is bullshit because you don't have remorse.
No, I'm not.
But if you don't put your kids in front of you right now and recognize that, you're going to put them through that misery of 12 to 14 years of you sitting on death row, them knowing the day that you're going to die.
Either way, I'm screwed. I'm not going to do anything with my kids. I mean,
Hey, you have an opportunity to see your daughter get married. Might have an opportunity to see her graduate high school. Have an opportunity to hold your grandchild. Those are things that you have an opportunity to do. I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but there's definitely an opportunity for it out there. But what happens is determined right now by what you do in this room. and you walk out of this room, and you can do it anytime you want. I've already told you 20 different times, I've admonished you. You can ask for an attorney, you can end this. You can do whatever you want. That's your decision, and I'm going to honor that. Okay? But if you want any opportunity in your life to see your children again and to live in a free world again, then it's laying in front of you, waiting for you to grab it. And if you don't, then don't waste my time. You need to convince those people that you feel some remorse, John. I don't get into the emotions of it because I'm a black and white guy. You're an engineer, kind of black and white, right? And I'm the same way. I go into a murder scene, I can see 10 bodies. It wouldn't faze me for a second because I block it out. I don't let emotion cloud what I'm doing because it throws my work off. And I don't want to do my work because I'm anal retentive and I'm boom, 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 boom. Okay? That's who I am. And I can block out the emotion of killing this lady, Laura, with children. And I look at it from a black and white standpoint. And to me, it's very black and white. You can tell us you're sorry and provide information and hope for the best, or you can tell me to go pound sand and you can go off to Huntsville and they're going to stick a needle in your arm in 12 to 14 years and you're going to die. You have an opportunity, damage mitigation. You know what it is? Damage control.
Yeah, but how do I do damage control? I'm trying to. You see what I said, because English is not my first language. Okay, things that they come out of my mouth, they come out sometimes the wrong way and getting incriminated against me, or be very easy to be twisted.
There's not a whole lot of twisted here, John.
No,
Okay?
I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about what you saw me.
All right.
Okay, I'm pretty sure you did before. If you bring it and show me all stuff, you've done your due diligence.
I have, thank you.
Okay, so that's not what I'm guessing, or I'm saying, or I don't know however you want to call it. You know what I mean. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm trying to think. If I say something to come out the way that I actually mean it, then
Say this. I'm sorry.
Oh, I am sorry that my wife was killed. I cry so many times. I'm sorry that my kids are not with me. I'm sorry that my kids, they have to be gone to their biological dads, that they did not know them, they did not have any relationship with them. One of them was abusive towards Laura and stuff. The other one was a drug addict and alcoholic. I am sorry that my kids have to be there. I'm sorry that Maria does not have her mom. I mean, my biological mom.
You know what it sounds like,
You know,
John? It sounds like an argument that you discuss, all right, when they're offering you your deal or when you're going up for sentencing, and it sounds like a mitigation of damages to me. In other words, it sounds like it's probably better to have you outside in the free world taking care of your children sooner than later, okay?
Yeah, but how do I know that I'm going to be out there on the free world? And
I'm not the guy to guarantee it, okay? I can only tell you what it begins with. I'm going to tell you that there's zero opportunity if I walk out of this room, all right? There's zero opportunity. You're going to go down to Huntsville. They're going to kill your ass, okay? I can guarantee you that.
what is that? What do you mean?
The death penalty. You're going to go to the death row down in Huntsville, all right? You see it. Come on. You're not arguing with it. You're not even denying it, John. You're sitting there kind of nodding your head.
I mean,
yeah. It's a done deal. We're past it. We're past
Look,
it.
if you
It's
say-
done. It's about the decision that you want to make, John. There's no arguing this. I don't want to argue with it. I don't really want to discuss it with you. I just told you what I have because I think it's fair that you should know everything that's stacked up against you. And I think more than anything, what I wanted to tell you is I wanted you to know how much of a dumbass Trevino was, because if anything, it should motivate you to help make sure that he gets the death penalty. Right? He screwed you over. You go to hire the dumbass, and he tells 7 different people that you want him to kill your wife because you want custody of the children. He tells 7 different people that how much money you're offering.
But I didn't hire the dumbass. That's my problem.
Do what?
I did not hire the
Come
dumbass.
on.
I did not pay him any money. That's my problem. I had discussed back on the past that, that I had problems with Laura, but then afterwards, especially once he said yes to the wedding and yes to all the stuff. And
So you're saying that you told him in the past to kill her, and then he changed your mind?
No,
You still
I
did
didn't-
it?
I didn't.
Because if you did, hey, that's mitigation of circumstances there. If you arranged for him to kill her, and then you changed your mind and said don't do it, but he still wanted the money, so he did it, then that's something that needs to come out, John, because that's not what they're giving me.
I didn't.
If you tried to stop it and you couldn't, if you changed your mind at the end and tried to stop it, then that's a mitigation, John. But you have to say that. I can't say that. If you had a bad day and were running your mouth about, man, I want you to kill my wife for 15 grand, and you kind of played with it back and forth, but you weren't real serious, and you had another bad day and you brought it up again, and he went and did it, right? But you changed your mind or you didn't really want it to happen, then that's a mitigation. But John, at some point, you offered him money to go kill your wife, and he told him the reason why, because he told all these people, and it's going back a year, and he didn't make this shit up. All right? If you changed your mind at the end, then you need to say that. Did you change your mind at the end, John?
I did not want Laura killed.
So you changed your mind. When did you change your mind?
I mean,
It's a mitigation, John.
it's been a while. No, I didn't really want. I mean, sometimes I was getting angry or mad with her and stuff like that. But no, I mean, I did not want you killed.
So you changed your mind.
I did not want Laura killed.
You changed your mind at the end and it was too late. He's all coked up. He wants the money, so he's going to do it anyway.
Well, I didn't have any money to give him. I mean, there was some money on the safe, so if you guys didn't find it, then I don't know.
Did you change your mind, John?
I do not want Laura killed.
So you changed your mind. Because I know you ordered him or you asked him to do it and said you were going to pay for it, because there's a year of this shit going back that shows that you did. If you changed your mind at the end, then rack through it and tell me how you changed your mind.
No, that's not what him I have said to them. I mean,
Get conversations in front of James. Knucklehead was recording a lot of the conversations. You were pretty careful about what you said on the phone, but you still said enough to... You know what his game plan was? Is he going to blackmail you afterwards, keep getting money from you. He says there's a tape.
what do you mean?
He says that he did a tape of one of the conversations so he could blackmail you later. Hadn't given it to us yet. I'm guessing he will. I don't want it. It's going to be pretty screwed up. He's going to step in here, give the rest of the information, provide this tape, and he's not going to get the death penalty. Probably get a decent deal. You're going to run down to Huntsville and you didn't even pull the trigger. Sounds like you even changed your mind at the end of the day. If you change your mind, you just need to say it. He wants a deal for the tape.
So what?
He wants a guarantee. He wants a deal for the tape. I don't ever have to get that tape. I'd be a lot happier to send his ass down to Huntsville.
Say that again?
I would be much happier just to send him down to death row.
You go wherever he wants. That's.
Well, it's not where he wants.
Oh.
That's what I prefer for him. You made a mistake, John. You fucked up. You did. Now you just need to make the best of it. I know that sounds stupid, but I'll tell you what. How old are you now? What, 38, 40, something like that?
38.
38 years old, John. How long do you think you're going to live?
I have no idea.
Average human being right now lives to 82 years old for a male. Mediterranean diet, hell, you might live to be 102 as a boy eating all that seafood and olive oil.
Yeah.
So the question is from 38 to, let's say, 88, right? How do you live the next 40 years of your life? You know what? 10, 15, 20 of them may really suck. But you haven't been arrested for anything before. You didn't even pull the trigger. You don't have a violent history. And you know what? You have a skill set that the state of Texas would love to use. Go to a prison farm, man. Go build shit. Build bridges. Fix tractors. Run cattle. Ride horses outside. You like to ride horses?
Yeah.
Like being a farm boy in Greece. Except you're riding horses instead of donkeys. Huh? True.
Yeah, I was riding donkeys too. My grandfather and my mom had donkeys.
I mean, play your cards the right way and try to get this thing to work out as good as it can for you. And again, I'm not a guarantee. I've already explained that to you. But beg for forgiveness. Say that you're sorry. And help us get Mr. Trevino. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and it's either him or you.
Well, I don't care about him.
Well, him is important to you, okay? Because if I go yank him out of his cell again to find out where that tape is, then it all comes down on you, right? Try to make this thing work out in your best behalf. Try to make it where you can see your daughter's graduation from college, from high school, first baby. I mean, those are the things to look forward to. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you you're getting out the door. You're not. They're going to put $1 million, probably $2 million bond in you. You're not going anywhere. You're going to sit in here until trial, and then you're going to get convicted, and then they're going to give you the death penalty. All right? But if you choose to ask for consideration and try to help yourself out, and if I take that to the district attorney, I'm guessing that you would probably be able to avoid that trial. I'm guessing, I'm not the decision maker, and that there would be an opportunity for you to, plead to some type of sentence that would be a hell of a lot better than spending the rest of your life in prison.
I mean, okay, you told me please some kind of sentence. How do I know what's...
I have no guarantee for you. Would you like me to lie to you and tell you, oh yeah, you're going to get 6 months in the county jail? You would know that I'm lying. I would be full of shit. I'm not going to say that because I already told you before I don't lie about this stuff. This is significant. It's a real world decision. I should be honest with you and upright and forthright and tell you the truth, and you should make an educated decision. John, there's no promises in this other than what's going to happen to you if Mr. Trevino comes in here and gives me that tape.
Okay. Can I have some water or something to drink?
What do you want, a bottle?
I'm sure with that.
Is there any way to get a bottle of water, if you could ask those guys? Thanks, sir.
Can you just take me just over there and give me a little bit of time?
You want to go sit back in the tank? Okay. You just knock on the door. If you want to talk to me again, let me know, and if not, then we'll take you up there. Thanks. He wants to go sit in the tank for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
If he wants to talk to me, knock on the door and say you want to talk to me. If not, then he'll run you upstairs. Okay? Thanks, John.
Good.
I didn't want Laura dead. I am sorry that Laura was killed. Okay, that's about it. There is. We can talk about it if you want. There's way too many things that I don't know, and there's way too many arrangements, and I really have. I really don't know how to act or react or anything like that. Okay? I know you cannot give me an advice of what? Of anything because of the position that you are, and I respect that.
I can tell you what I think. This is my fear, okay? And I'll just be honest with you, okay? If your attorney was sitting in here, and you can ask for an attorney anytime you want, you can shut me down, say you don't want to talk to me, you can say that you want your attorney, and everything stops, and that's completely up to you, and I want you to understand that, okay? I'm going to be brutally honest with you, all right? If your attorney was sitting right here, he would tell you to shut up, all right?
Do what?
He would tell you to shut up. He would tell you do not talk to him, okay? Because that's his job. Right? He doesn't want you to talk to me, okay? And I understand that. And if you want to reach out to an attorney, then knock yourself off. You can end this at any time you want. You steer the boat, you control it. I've made that very clear, okay? But this is a deal, John. Today you have an opportunity, all right? And that opportunity is not going to be here tomorrow because Mr. Trevino is coming in this room again next, and he's going to offer up that tape, all right? And I'm going to go get that tape, okay? But if you want to lay this thing out, then I'm going to tell Mr. Trevino to go pound sand, and I'm going to leave him with his statement that he killed your wife and that you paid him for it, and I'm going to send him to death row where he needs to go, because that's where he needs to go. He's killed 2 other people, all right? So what would your attorney say? He would tell you to shut up, okay? But I'm going to tell you this, John. Your attorney also is not going to let you testify in trial. All right, because what are you going to do? Get up there and look like an idiot? There's all this proof showing that you did this, right? That you paid for it and that you asked him to do it and that you were involved in the planning and everything like that, okay? And when you do all that, then you get beat up by the prosecutor because that's what they do, right? And their goal at that point is to send you to death row, okay? My belief, and I'm not your attorney, okay? I'm not an attorney, all right? But my belief is the best opportunities that you have are right now, here and today, okay? Because if you want a chance to mitigate these damages, and again, I'm not the person who makes those decisions, I go up and tell them what was said, all right? I tell them whether you want to cooperate, whether you don't want to cooperate. I tell them whether you're sorry or whether you're not sorry, okay? But those are the people that make the decisions, all right? And down the road, if you choose to cooperate, then my guess, and I'm not the decision maker, is they turn around, they offer you some type of deal in order for your testimony, okay? Because they really want to send Mr. Trevino to death row because he committed 2 other murders and that's where he just needs to go, okay? But that opportunity is not going to present itself again, all right? Because this is what the prosecutor wants, okay? They want to know that you're sorry for what happened. And they want to know that you want to do the right thing and that you want to help and you want to make amends, all right? So as things move forward, what is your best opportunity in life? With no promises for me, but it's your cooperation and for you to let her know that you're sorry and that you made a mistake. Maybe you changed your mind at the last minute. I don't know. You're the only one who can say that. But even if you didn't, all right, I find it hard to believe that you're not going to be able to convince me today or give me a statement with my help, and I'll help you with a statement, that is going to convince the prosecutor that you feel bad about this, all right? And that you're willing to come clean and be honest. And at the end of the day, I talked about the Judeo-Christian Society and
The what?
being a Christian and forgiveness, all right? And at the end of the day, it sounds hokey and crazy, but it's the truth. And that's kind of where we're at. But the problem is, as you walk on down the road and you're not so sorry about what happened. Because if you're sorry about what happened, then you tell me right now so we can punish Mr. Trevino accordingly for sticking a gun up to your wife's forehead.
I mean, I am sorry what happened, and Trevino needs to be punished. Okay, I did not see that he would have done it, and I said the same to the detective Hernandez that day that they came to me, is that I don't see that there is enough time in for him to
It's done.
To
I mean,
do this.
we're past that. He did.
I understand, and what I'm trying to say, that's my, that was my thinking that all stuff. So
He did it, and he did it for a reason. I mean, you offered to pay him, you wanted him to do that, and if you feel sorry about that, I hope you do. But that's what helps you, all right? Being cold-blooded and not feeling sorry about it, and not wanting to see him being prosecuted to the full extent of the law, that does not help you. That just shows that you have zero remorse. And you need to convince these people that you have remorse and that you feel sorry, all right? And you're a smart guy. You're smart. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to trust me. Just listen to what I'm saying and think through it. You've seen this out there. There's tons more evidence. There's lab reports. There's all kinds of stuff. But it's the statements from these people that are going to do you in. That did you in. It's the statements from Trevino. It's the statements from James.
I mean, I didn't say anything to any of these people.
No, but he did. And he's going to, because he did all those stupid things and because all this evidence is presented against him and because he's trying to save his ass, he's going to turn around and give me that recording, okay? He's already told me the deal. He already told me what happened, how it was planned, how he got paid, how he got the gray car, all that other shit. All right, he told me all that. He told me what he did with the gun. He told me what he did with the clothes. He told me everything, okay? But at this point, he's already confessed to it. So at this point, it's how do we move forward? Do we move forward with Mr. Trevino being on the side of the state and testifying against you so you get the death penalty? Or do we move forward with you testifying or providing information against Mr. Trevino so I don't have to talk to him again? In other words, I don't need anything to get Mr. Trevino. He's done. I don't need anything to get you. But at the end of the day, either he's going to testify against you or you're going to testify against him. Okay? I mean, that's just the way it works. He's already willing to testify against you. He's already saying these things and he has this recording, so he was going to blackmail you with it later. It's supposed to lay everything out, okay? But he's only going to do that if he gets the deal. He's given all the information, so the question is, do they turn around and let him provide this recording and have this jam shut case against you, talking about the plan and what's going to happen and how you're going to have your wife murdered? And does he testify against you so you get the death penalty? Or do you help us out right now here today and we go after him? So it's, an egocentric world, and you do what you need to do to survive. Well,
That's not.
Well, you got to think about your kids, man. You got to think about your
I
future.
am thinking about my kids because it's like, okay, so let's say I go to jail or whatever. What's going to happen to my kids? There are two older ones there with their dads or whatever. What's going to happen with Maria? That's what I'm thinking. I don't know any of this stuff. I don't know.
Well, would you rather that she
stop working? And
would you rather that she visits you in jail and you get to write to her and talk to her on the phone every once in a while, and that you have at least an opportunity to see her graduate high school, to hold her first baby? Because that opportunity's out there. But if you don't want that, then that's up to you.
I don't know. It just too much for me. I mean, it's just whatever Trevino said to whoever against, you know.
Take Trevino out of the equation, man.
What do you mean?
I mean, you provide information against Trevino, right? Down the road, you plead to some type of deal, and it doesn't really matter what he said against you as long as you tell the truth, right? And then you control your destiny for the most, as opposed to him controlling it. Because right now, that's, I mean, the lucky thing in this is you have a decision to make. I mean, it's a good thing that he's killed 2 other people for you. Because if he hadn't, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. If he hadn't, then we would have just booked you in and...
How do you guys know that he killed 2 other people? I mean...
Because one of the people who talked gave us other information about other murders, and we've confirmed that information, and he's been running his mouth. You think that your wife's murder is the first one that he ran his mouth about? No, he's an idiot. But that's your opportunity, and normally you wouldn't have that opportunity. You know, normally the way this works is the state's going to go to him and offer him some type of deal so he'll testify against you so you can get the death penalty, but you have an opportunity here. You know, they're more interested in getting him than you. So you, and at the same time, you have an opportunity to do the right thing, John. But it's mitigation of damages. I mean, there's no...
I need him to get punished. That's fine. That's sure. No, that's fine. He needs to just...
How do you feel if you go to death row and he's out of jail in 15, 20 years?
I don't know.
I mean, he's only screwed you over at the end of the day.
Well, that's the start of my life. I'm getting screwed over by everybody for my whole life. So that's... You know what I mean? It's just... From everybody. I mean, clients and this and left and right. I mean, I'm getting screwed over because I'm too nice or I'm too good to...
Look, life isn't fair.
To know my rights and know my this and know my that, whatever. So...
But life isn't fair, okay? But you did something. I mean, you made a mistake. You paid this guy to kill your wife, and he ran his mouth, and he talked about it.
I did not pay him. That's my...
That's not what he's saying.
Well, I mean... He says I did not pay him. I did not pay him.
He had some money because he gave James $1,000. But that's your decision. But I'm telling you, you know, at least you have some options. You have some. It's a gamble. I mean, you're kind of rolling the dice and everything. But what's your option? You know, what else is out there? Go to Huntsville and sit in an 8x10 room and use your toilet for your sink for the next 12 years until they stick a needle in you? I mean, that's not a whole lot to look forward to. You know what? Prison sucks, but because of your record, because you're not a violent offender, because you don't have prior convictions, because you don't have a criminal history, I mean, I think it's fairly opportunistic for you, and because you have a skill set that people would want, there's a really good opportunity that, you know, you can go to some work farm and not have that bad of a life. And, you know, let's say you get 30 years. Well, then you end up serving 15 as long as you don't kill someone in prison or beat someone up. Or let's say you get 20, then you serve 10. Or, I mean, you know, I don't know. But you at least have that opportunity.
This is the reason why I think that I need to speak with an attorney or whatever to, because, I mean, if I say, for me, basically, because I did not tell Trevino or I did not give money to Manuel. Okay, if I say that, oh, I gave money so I can hope for something like this, then it's like I'm incriminating myself. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know if it makes sense. That's...
Well, and you say that word, you know, I think or I want. You know, I may want an attorney, and that's your decision. I mean, that's what America is. You just tell me. I mean,
Well, I think I need to speak with somebody that is a third person, you know, that is not me and is not you, so I can see, I don't know, you know, I mean, I mean, you know, I haven't done anything wrong. I did not pay him, so I don't know. That's the reason why I'm thinking that I need to speak with a third person, attorney or something to advise me, because I mean, basically right now you're telling me incriminate yourself and say that, oh yes, you did this where I didn't give him any money. That's what it is. You know what I mean?
Well, if you want to talk to an attorney, okay, and I'm still, you're kind of saying different things, but if that's what you want, then I'm going to end this right now, okay?